Welcome back. This is Greg from Kaplan Boating. I'm here with Joe O'Malley. You may know him as the man behind Happy Captain.
So I saw a need to create a company that would go to those people's boat, get them to know the finite, intimate control of their boat, and then practice a whole lot of docking where they live and breathe and where they want to boat every weekend.
Any recommendations on best way to dock?
I meet a lot of people who say, well, 5 times out of 10 I can dock perfectly fine, and I don't think that they know why. They can't get to the bottom of why it's 5 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, and the answer is wind or current. So you have to play the wind. So there's something called minimum control speed. On a calm day, you'd be coming in and out of gear just gracefully and with a very slow approach with maybe a slight angle to the dock. On a bigger day, minimum control speed would necessitate you staying in gear longer and moving faster at a wider angle or a greater angle to the dock.
And get above a 10-mile-an-hour wind, it does lend itself to a pretty good chop on Fox and Pistachio.
Beginners will say, at what point shouldn't I go out? And around that 10-mile-an-hour mark, everything's different. It's going to be tougher. So, those beginners, 0 to 8, 0 to 10, go for it. You get into 10, 12s, 14s, you should kind of know your stuff a little more. As far as, then you talked about waves or wakes. The first way is to kind of stay in the swale, if you will, and take them sideways like what's happening to us right here. The harshest way on your body would be to hit them at a 90 degrees. So what you really want to do is treat them like the speed bump at work, where you're almost upon it with your bow. You reduce throttle just enough to soften it, and then you're pretty much not even over it, and you go right back to the throttle you had. And so I relate the wind not to the boat as much as the student, but yeah, absolutely, they run parallel. 17 footer and 17 wind is not going to be much fun at all. If I come straight into the wind, the spray will be even and uniform and it won't soak everybody. Even if I'm not going home that way, I can go up that way and then tack over.
What would you advise a new boater to know about the chain?
I would tell you that there are lots of shallow areas. You want to trim shallow through all of those fun channels you're going through. Trim down to get up on plane and get out of the muck right away.
What's the best way to reach you?
Well, I appreciate that. www.happy-captain.com, and we are